Hey guys, and welcome back to another episode of Talking Town. My name's Adam, and I'm joined by my constant co-host Steven. Steven, how are you doing today?
Hello, I'm doing well. Yeah.
Yeah, I was basically messaging you quite a bit this weekend because I was sitting there on the tarmac, like just waiting for my plane to take off, and I saw you were. It was Frank's match. Was that the last match of the day for day one? Right?
Yes. Yep.
Okay. Well, I know we'll get to it, but my heart was like, I saw you take game one. I'm like, what's gonna happen? I was like, he's playing
Yeah.
against Vader. He knows what to do. But there's a lot to break down about what went on that whole weekend for you guys and all the Omaha folks. But let's just dive into how your weekend went specifically. So you're the co-host here. How did your day start?
Yeah. So day one started off playing against Iden Yellow. I sat down and I was like, "Oh gosh," because was not prepared for this at all. So game one starts off. I have no turn one play game one at all. Uh, and then like my next two plays just get entrenched. Uh, and then like I get to deploy my leader. My opponent tries to frozen and carbonite it.
Oh,
And yeah, and I'm like, so I can't do that, but it just gets to a point where like, I can't do anything. They're in complete control. I'm not seeing like I'm not seeing crate dragons or anything like that. I
classic
probably
blue yellow.
discarded. What'd you say?
Classic blue yellow. Just like
Yeah.
they're just gonna make you take the game until they get a super laser blast you and all that
Yeah,
joy.
yeah, exactly. They started, they were at the bounty hunter crew level and they just were able to start recycling. I discarded a regional governor probably when I shouldn't have to utilize a Poe effect. Um, I think game one I was just like completely out of my zone, just panicking kind to an extent.
I mean, that's not a
I
matchup you prep for probably very much, like at all.
Not really at all. So like that, I think that game went on for like 30 minutes, and I
Oof.
should have quit. Like I should have just said let's go to game two so much sooner. I could have probably. I was looking at it and I'm like, oh, I think I've lost. Like at least 10 minutes before I decided to actually just say let's go to game two.
Mm-hmm.
Um, because I was just thinking it's round one. I think I can just outplay the opponent, but I think I was just being overconfident on that. So I just as
It's
soon as as
it's
soon as my like second crate dragon got milled, I was like, okay, let's go to the next game.
it's
Game
that
two,
it's that thing with game one though. In the day, you're like, I want to win this one. I want to win this one especially, just to feel good for the rest of the run. And
yeah,
then yeah, yep.
yeah, exactly. Game two, I kind of just rolled. I just kind of rolled game two. Went very smoothly. We started game three with like 10 minutes left.
Oof.
So it was a little rough. Game three was going very, very well for me. I destroyed the hand. I destroyed her hand. There was a little bit of awkwardness with my opponent played enticing reward on one of my Nima outpost constables, and then no gloried it.
Oh.
So and neither of us really even considered it at first. So they just started
Uh,
looking at the top of their deck or whatever, and
oh, they messed up on their behalf.
we got it worked out, and I let them just take back the no glory, which
Mm.
maybe I shouldn't have, but like I was so pressed for time that I was like, I don't want us to just looking through the decks or whatever.
Yeah.
So like I got I got to a point where I had I think it was like the second to last turn or time was called. I had like double crate dragon in hand. I had destroyed their hand the turn before, so they were top decking. Um, so like if I had like 3 5 more minutes even, I win that game in my opinion.
Mm.
Um, so
You're
it
just
was
that
just
confident
unfortunate
on
there.
board, basically.
Oh yeah, I was super confident on board. Like in the final round of the of for time. I played a Crate Dragon. There was no, she didn't have an answer. I had a second Crate Dragon on top of that. So I think I win that game. I had 10 damage on her base, and definitely would have been able to swing for 10 the next turn. So, and like I said, she was stop decking. She got one enticing reward off that turn, but like added like a vigilance and something like maybe a takedown. So like nothing that worried me at all.
Yeah.
So I think that really was just me. I needed to be more disciplined in just forfeiting game one, especially since I knew I have confiscates in the sideboard. I have the third crate. I have more hand disruption. So so
There's
it was
also-
just making sure that I utilized the regional governor correctly, which I think I misplayed in game one because that's how I won game two. I just board, just slam stuff on board,
Yeah.
proceeded to play a regional governor called Super Laser Blast, and it's like, what do I do? So,
Yeah, you get in that, like, it's a checkmate almost when you've established enough of a board that they have no just out, and especially since they're not going to ramp. You're playing into on curve removal, which is fine, but it's just that thing that like Kira's just does it better because it can ramp. But
yeah.
So unintentional draw going into the first round. What'd you play against round two?
Round two, I played against Hondo Yellow. Yeah, I know. I was
What
so
is this?
I mean, it was a draw round one, and I was like, Hondo Yellow, interesting. I thought I was thinking about it, and I'm like, well, at least it's not Hondo Blue.
Yeah,
I'm like Hondo Yellow. I was like, well, I mean, I guess there's Bazine, so that'd probably be annoying.
Big jetpack Hondo.
But I don't have to. Yeah, maybe. But I was like, I didn't have to worry about any of the blue removal stuff. So I was like, okay. So yeah, I kind of just destroyed both those games. It sounded like he wasn't drawing well either. So at least from what I could tell, he was there with he was a dad. He had, I think, 2 or 3 kids playing in the event
awesome.
as well. So that was nice. So yeah, very very nice
Just
game.
another round.
Nice.
Yeah.
The round 3, I'm in my head after drawing round 1. I honestly considered almost just giving her the win because I was like, I don't want to be in this tie bracket. I was like, is it worth being in this tie bracket and facing Kira's all day? Which, we can talk about later. But one of our other Omaha guys had fun on that front. But I played Kira in round 3. Yeah, I played Kira in round 3. I don't know how old he was. I think he was he was younger. I don't think he was under 18, if I remember correctly, that I played. And yeah, game 1, he walloped me. He killed me in 8 minutes, if that. Like, I start with a black 1. I have no turn 2 except buffing the black 1. He turn 1 hit Hyla Bond, then he ramped, then deployed, and then when I played Kanan on that turn, he no gloried it, so he just smacked me for like 3, then 7, 3, then 7, then another 7, and then I think on my like Ray deploy turn, he just killed me with a maul. So like, yeah, it was. I was like, oh great, I'm like, good to know, tournament's already over, guys.
That's weird.
What a
that's a weird. I mean, at least it was like you saw Kira. Like if your day ends right there, you're like, I played against one meta deck.
Yeah. So, but thankfully, I was able to, finish the next 2 games. I can't remember game 2 very well. Game 3, I kind of destroyed his hand again, and then there was like one turn where he maybe could have stabilized, but he drew double resupply. So that was unfortunate. I think he might have misplayed as well on that turn because I think like there was a turn. I think it was his 7 resource turn. He didn't resource, and he just played 2 3-drops. And I forced through the last card in his hand on that turn, and it was a Maul. So yeah, so I was like, that's a little. I don't know. I don't know. So that's like, I think that game would have been a little bit more complicated if he had played them all, because I think it disrupts my board a little bit more. But I don't know. So yeah, I was able to
So you've
clear that out.
2-0-1 now, right?
So yeah. So now I'm 2-0-1. That round, I was diagonal to our good friend Derek from Kansas City, who I played in the PQ early beginning of May, and we got paired up in round 4. So I was thinking, I was like, surely I can get my revenge on Derek. Surely I can get my revenge. He kind of cooked me game 1. Game 1 was not really close at all.
And you're both. He was on Quinlan, right?
He was on Quinlan again. So this is our third time playing the matchup. This is our third time playing the matchup in events. Game 1 he absolutely wrecked me. I think game 2 I won pretty. Did I win pretty convincingly? I can't remember game 2. And then game 3 was kind of rough for me. It felt like the whole game. He started with the Green Squadron A-Wing, and then he followed up with the Red 5. I think my turn 1 was an R2, so it's like I don't even have Moisture Farmer to help heal. And he just I think I misplayed as well, because I don't think I played the Tarkin Town fight correctly. I think there was a moment where I could have forced him to Tarkin Town, and then he wouldn't have had it for my Poe Dameron. And then of course, he has the Plo Koon and such for my Ray Flip.
It's such a close matchup that, having watched you guys play it twice, the third time, I'm sure it was actually really good again. I just, the intricacies of how to trade to establish a better board between the two of you can swing very wildly, depending on how well the hand is that following turn. It's really cool to see, because you're both really good with with both of those decks. But it's just funny that somehow you guys end up playing again. And
I know, because we were worried too, because it was at this point it was me, Derek, Daniel.
Were you all 2-0-1 at that point?
Yeah, we were all 2-0-1, and I think even Michael Abraham was 2-0-1.
Oh,
so
man.
we're all panicked, oh no, we're just gonna play each other, and
definitely.
So and that kind of happened, within the next 2 rounds as well. But yeah. So after Derek, I played Luke Data Vault, Luke 1 Data Vault. Okay. I won that 2-0. Again, I'm very comfortable with my blue-green hero matchup.
You have Krayt Dragon, which just unless they have the removal, that's such a hard thing to deal with. So
I have Krayt Dragon, but it's not just that, but OB1 against blue-green hero.
Yeah, what do they do?
They really can't deal. They can't deal with it. So it's all just a matter of just playing around their Luke and having it out to a home 1, and you're usually fine if that. So yeah, it went well. Another 2-0 there. After that, I played Anakin Blue, just regular Anakin Blue. I was able to 2-0 that. I honestly don't even remember that match all that much anymore. I can't.
That was round 6 at this point, right? Yeah, because you played.
This is round 6 at this point. Yep.
So you'd be 4-1-1.
So I'd be 4-1-1. Correct. Yep. After that, I play Han 2 Data Vault. I don't know why, but I was shaking in my boots in this round for some odd reason. I don't know why. All of my confidence just decided to go out the window in that game 1 for some odd reason. I don't know what it was. I never felt like I was particularly behind, but it felt like I was so far behind. But yeah, I was able to win that 2-0. Again, nothing that I can really mention more there. I can't remember a lot of the.
I think that matchup is. At least a Han 2 Data Vault's just this wild card deck that, while you can know the entirety of the card pool that's going to come at you, You just don't know what it's going to be that next turn, though. Like you have to
Yeah.
both prepare for the lower drop card, the status, like the on curve play or the timely, and it's like which one of these things is going to hit me.
Well, I mean, it's funny though too, because like at least the way that I look at the matchup is it's like when do you Tarkin Town?
Yeah.
Right. And some people, a lot of them are like, okay, well, I'm going to just play this 3-drop turn 1 and force you to Tarkin Town. And, depending on what I have, often I do. And it usually works out fine, because usually they don't have a ton of space units that they then can just spam out to kill me after the fact. And as I think I had Poe on curve every game and just killed his leader. So, and then after that, I just make sure when I deploy Rey, I have Sentinels, and he's not going to kill my board. So
yeah, they may put big units down, but like, you take it at stat value at that point, and you have removal, and they don't, unless he was running the out of aspect. I saw people were running out of aspect fells, and that's
he is. He okay. Double felled me in one of the games, like back to back felled me. But that's his whole turn. Then it's his whole turn. So he's paying 6 for it, but I don't know why it was so stressful, but I mean, at this point I'm also just like,
one more loss, one more win, or one more tie. Tie would get rough, but another loss, you're basically out of day 2.
Not guaranteed, but it's not. It doesn't look great.
Yeah.
So and like at that point, I think I was at like table 20 something. So like, or was it? No, I think I was. I think I was at like table 20 something if memory serves.
5-1-1, yeah, you'd be pretty high up there.
Yeah, but I was like looking around me too, and to my right, I have a Palpatine green data vault, and I'm like, uh-oh. And I look over to my left, and I'm like, okay, I see. What did I see? I think I saw like an Anakin and something else, and I'm like, please be the Anakin. But nope. Round 8, I get paired against Palpatine green, and I'm like, well, guys, it was a good run. It was a great run. I'm like, this is exactly what I don't want.
Yeah.
If only it could have been blue. I feel like yellow is my worst matchup, but I feel like a Palp yellow player that doesn't know the matchup is going to have a little bit of a harder time than green, because I think green is just going to play itself a little bit more smoothly than yellow will in the matchup. Yellow, I think, is going to be a little bit more complicated from a line perspective. Green, you can kind of just play the cards.
Yeah, it's very rudimentary. Not rudimentary, but it's very the board plays itself. Palp
to an extent.
Yeah, you get to Palp as fast as possible, and then hope that that's all.
Right. But so I'm panicking. Not really, but I'm just like, oh well, it was a good run. So game 1 we start. I got initiative. I think I start with like a Sabine. He just claims, so I'm in a good position there. I'm able to put a lot of pressure on him early. He doesn't ramp in game 1 at all. We're kind of getting to the end of the game, and he's starting to stabilize. And I'm like, at a certain point, I'm able to drop a Luke, and claim, and the first action, that Luke swing kills him. And I'm just hoping that he doesn't have an out, because if he has an out to this exact play, I probably lose that game. Because like I'm not like, I mean, he was at I think like 13 resources or something at this point as well. And I haven't seen Cray, all this, and he didn't have an out to the Luke, so I was able to just first action kill him. And I'm pretty sure that Luke, I think, lived with 1 HP. So I think he had like a Vader plus Palp effect, but yeah. So I was able to get game 1, and I'm like, okay, I've got a little wiggle room. Game 2, he kind of just absolutely dominated me. He opens Poggle into Royal Guard, has ramp, and then like he flips Palp early, and I shouldn't say early, but I feel like he could have been a little greedier with some of his. Yeah, I think he could have been a little greedier with his Palp flip because I'm trying to remember. I think he took a Poe, so like it's not horrible, but like the Poe had like 3 damage on it and whatnot, and did I already attack with it? I don't think I did, but I'm like, my board state was at least fine, all things considered. I'm able to drop a Luke or whatever, but the game changer was he Change of Hearts my Luke, like the following turn. So he's playing off aspect Change of Heart in the sideboard, it seems, and he's got Palp up. He's going to be able to sack it. So I just have to fell it, and I just get overwhelmed at that point. But then game three, I think he opened Poggle another time, but he has no ramp, and I do kind of just get to the point of I just keep hitting him. I'm able to keep hitting him, and then I am able to just claim at a certain point again, and he doesn't have an out to what kills him. I can't even remember exactly what it was, but it might have been the crate. I might have just dropped a crate, like just freely, and he was at 23. So like it was exact game.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was like, thank God I won. I never have much hope in that matchup.
I think it's. I mean, especially the data vault probably like swayed it back for you just a little bit. Like Palp was already so slow, and a little bit of hand hate goes a long way into that matchup, especially if they just can't see any ramp.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I don't even know if I hit his hand all that much in that series, like at all. I think I was just able to tempo him to an extent. I think he just he drew okay, but not great. And the only games I won were the ones where he didn't draw ramp, right? So yeah, I think it was just him drawing less than ideal, and that kind of helped sway it my way. But yeah, so going into the final round of day one, and I'm X1-1. So I'm like,
I'm gonna pull up can I do it? List real quick while we're at it, but yeah, continue.
Sure. So yeah, going into the final round, and I'm feeling pretty confident at this point because I'm like, okay, I just beat my hardest matchup, and I think to myself, if I lose or tie, I think I still make day two. I'm like, if I lose, I'm like, maybe not quite, but I'm like, I'm feeling pretty good based off of what I think I could get paired up against. And then I get paired up against Vader Yellow, and I'm like, oh, okay. I think this is the next least ideal matchup that I play.
You think
so?
I thought
for Vader Yellow.
Yeah.
I don't think I'm favored Vader Yellow. I don't think I'm favored.
You don't think
I
think
just
okay.
No, but I have a little bit of background on the matchup here too. So I was playing Frank from Bothan Network. Man, I think that guy is my favorite SWU player now. So that he is just a joy to be around. He's so positive. I know we had initially talked about just intentionally drawing, but he was under the impression that we don't make day two if we draw, or at least he didn't think he does, because apparently he said his breakers were not good or something like that. Huh. So we play game one, and I win. So I'm feeling a little confident now. And he still asked me if we just want to intentionally draw. And I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, oh gosh, if I could just lose these next two, but I'm like, okay, yeah, we can do that. But as it turns out, and I feel like I probably, if I thought like for 20 seconds about it, that I was like, wait a second, no, that's against the rules. Yeah. I was not thinking about it at all. Like, I'm just like, yeah, I think we can just ID. That's fine. and
It's a
of course
very
we're on
interesting
stream.
thing. Yeah.
Yeah, so we're on stream, but like you can't ID after you've started playing, right? So I think we're in the middle of game 3, or we're in the middle of game 3 playing, and we're kind of having some back and forth with the judge, and similarly after the match, because obviously we both agreed to an ID, but it was in a invalid point of the match,
Yeah.
so we technically can't ID.
They kind of have
and
to
then
honor the playing.
Right, and then, but we didn't hit on this till like game 3, right?
Yeah.
So like I play game 2, I'm up a game. Okay, we've ID'd, and I'm like looking at my hand, and I'm like, oh, do I keep this? And I'm like going back and forth, and I'm like, well, I'm not playing for anything, so I don't know. Not saying that actually affected the game at all.
Mm.
I just don't know if I played that to the same level that I would have with full stakes.
It's a long day. This was
your and I'm not gonna lie, I was dead. You could ask who I was traveling with, because even after the end of the day when we got food, like we went to Mother Clucker's for dinner after this.
Mm-hmm. Sounds wonderful.
And yeah, we went. Yeah, it was like a place called Mother Clucker's, and we walk over there, so we have all of our stuff. After we're done eating, I literally start walking out, having left my backpack under the table.
Oh.
And Ryan is like, Steven. Steven, your bag. Yeah, I'm sure they could tell you all kinds of things but I was just beyond just mentally drained.
Yeah.
And tired.
I don't care who you are. You know what? You could be conditioned to do that frequently, but no matter how you shake the dice or roll the dice, it's like that is a long day of playing cards.
Yeah, and like it was not moving as quickly as it did at Denver, as people were saying. Like
that's unfortunate.
It was moving. It was moving slower. It felt relatively slow. Not like horrible. I think there was maybe a round or two where it did feel like really slow, but it wasn't exactly going quick. But anyways, like game 2, he got me. I like had black one. I see my opening hand and I have 2 black ones, and I'm like, sure, yeah, we'll just do this because he's probably just gonna kill the first one or whatever. Because he'll probably just play like a 1-drop, kill it, and then even if I like say buff it, then I can just play the other one, which I do. But he kind of just overwhelms me on that, and I don't draw any other space. I don't have the same like restore that I had game 1. Game 1 I won because I think I had like a Moisture Farmer, a Ray, a Yoda, and a Luke all on ground.
Oh yeah.
Towards the end of the game.
Yeah.
So it's literally just all the restore. I also had an entrenched that game. But yeah, game 2 he just kind of overwhelmed me, and then game 3, I can't remember. All I know is I do not think I drew well in game 3. I can't remember exact, but yeah, it was just I did not see stuff that I need for that matchup, or if I did see it, it was not when I needed to see it. And I think he did have double no glory that game, unfortunately.
No glory?
No glory. No good. No good to me dead.
Your guy.
So he was able to hit both my Poe and my Ray. I think the big swing was the Poe, having it for the Poe. The Ray, I don't. Him doing it on the Ray, I don't think he even made it matter. I think he was just going to kill me anyways. But yeah. So we went. So I lost that.
That's what's crazy to me is, like I said at the top of the episode, I was like, this is where I stopped. Right after game 1, we took off into the air, and I lost all signal, and I was just sitting there. I was like, I got 3 hours on this flight. Like, what's happening? And then, yeah, I got back and touched down. I was like, dang it. But,
yeah,
like you said, I saw Frank at Denver, and I didn't get a chance to speak with him. But, I've heard nothing but awesome things about just how excited he is within his own community, but, the entirety of it. And it's always just nice to see, because it's like, I try very hard to be the same way for here and do this for for all of our locals, and just like encourage everyone that, like, at the top of the end of the day, we're all trying to have fun, but we're also trying to be competitive, and it's the spirit of the game.
Yeah, and I guess he played Laura earlier in the day.
Oh wow, that's funny.
Because yeah, I know. So yeah, he got to play a couple Omaha people because he asked where I was from. He was like, "Oh, I played a girl from Omaha earlier." And yeah, that was Laura. But yeah, so I lost that, and he's like, "Oh, I'll be rooting for you to make day 2 or and such." And I'm just like so mentally drained. Part of me is like, well, I think I did all right. Maybe just missed the cutoff, but I finished day 155th. One of the streamers, I don't know exactly who, tells me, "Hey, you made 55th," before I could even see it on Melee. And I was like, cool. And then what's so funny is I'm like over by the streamers, and then Frank on the whole other opposite side of the convention center, kind of where you sign up or whatever. I just hear the yell, "Steven," and him running all the way over to me and giving me a big hug. And I'm just like, and this is why he is now my favorite SWU player.
Hey,
so that's just such a great experience,
You're gonna have to send him this one where when we post it, just be like, "Hey, thanks, man."
Yeah. Yep. So yeah, got to do that. And I kind of already mentioned the rest of the evening I was just kind of dead. Not and to be fair, I have not eaten all day. In case people don't know, on tournament days I do not eat, because I have historically not had enjoyable times with food on tournament days. I don't know if it's a I don't know if it's a mental nervousness, anxiety thing that manifests physically, and if I eat, it just
boils up a little bit.
Yeah, I just do not feel good.
I will physically
snack, throughout that day,
but eat a meal. That I'll have a oh my gosh, like a power bar of some kind or something, to just like some protein to keep my my noggin going. But yeah, I won't stuff myself.
Yeah, because that's the thing. I'm like, oh, do I eat breakfast? And it's usually as soon as I eat breakfast and I get to the convention or get to the event, I'm just like, I think it is just there's a physical manifestation of stress that just hits me, and it just causes the food to not sit with me well. And
that's fair.
Yeah.
Jitters.
So yeah, I just kind of make the executive decision to not eat, and I think I'll enjoy my day a little bit more.
It helps. Honestly, it helps you focus too. Like, being hungry, and physically being hungry, and mentally being like on, it's just your body wants to do one thing at one time, rather than like where you're full, your whole body just wants to relax. And, these are all just like basic nutrition things, but it definitely helps. I mean, I've heard this from so many people over the years. So it's definitely, yeah.
I hate that that's just because, some people say it's like you got to do your thing on the tournament, right? It's like, maybe you snack, maybe you have to eat, maybe you can only drink water or certain things. And I'm like, I hate it's the fact that I can't eat. And, but, I'm just like, well, I guess that's just kind of the reality, what reality is set forth on me. But yeah.
All right. So you are made it to day 2 on 621. I've got your list pulled up real quick. If you want to, we can do it after your run, or do you want to do it now? What do you feel?
I can run through day 2 relatively quick since it's just 4 rounds. So
okay.
So round 10, first round of day 2, I'm going in thinking, cool, we'll just hit my mic. We'll just hit or we'll just lose the first round. The stress is gone. Honestly, day 2, I really wasn't particularly stressed. I was kind of more in the like acceptance stage of like there's no hope, and so I'm just like there was a little bit of stress.
And if you lose, you go play side event.
Yeah, exactly. So I successfully went in with I have no expectations for this day. So I go in game 1 or round 1, so round 10, I guess. Play Han Solo Data Volt, and I'm like, okay, I really enjoy this matchup. I don't know, I was very confident for this one as opposed to the other Han Solo this time around. But I go in, I 2-0. I kind of just absolutely just hit his hand at perfect times. I forget which game it was, but like, I hit him with a pillage and a force throw on my Ray deploy turn. Like I said, I think I played Poe both games to kill his leader. The following turn. So just all of that just came in, and then he ended up having to top deck. The next round, I played Kira, Data Vault again. So here I'm thinking, oh, cool, Akira, the matchup that I was like, figured that I'll run into a good player and they'll just beat me. It's round 11. I'm only going to play good players, so I'm going to get absolutely cooked. I shouldn't say I'm going to get absolutely cooked, but I'll lose. I'm like, yeah, it'll be a good player. I'll lose. So I played against Ryan DeCrissi from Secret, Team Secret. And I was able to win that 2-0. Game one, I think he kind of just drew mediocre. And then game two, sort of mediocre again. I know he misplayed. He said he misplayed in game two a little bit, but they were intense games. And I to me it just felt like he just wasn't drawing the greatest. He wasn't top decking outs particularly well. So that was kind of just the way it hit. Team Secret was doing a bounty on themselves, so shout out to them. He gave me a bounty pack for winning, and then gave me another one for subscribing. So
cool.
Shout out to them. Yeah,
I might have to borrow that idea.
There you go. And then round 12, I play against Ben, who is from Iowa. So we know him. I know you're not quite sure maybe who I'm talking about, but I know him from going to some of the events in Ankeny.
Some of
trying
our
to remember
PQs, basically.
Yeah. Well, I think it was. I think I've only. Well, I think I mostly played him from the Des Moines or the Ankeny one case, but I've seen him in Kansas City as well. At the PQs, but he was playing Boba Fett for Data Vault. And so I was like kind of confident because I'm like, Boba Fett 4 is usually a good matchup for me because I run so much restore. But I was thinking to myself, I was like, oh, it's Data Vault. He's got a lot of health. I don't know exactly what all is playing in green. I was like, obviously he's got Barrage. I'm like, but is he running Vader randomly? I don't know how top end this goes, but game one, I start off with, I think, a black 1 or some space unit, thinking that it's Boba 4, he's gonna play space, right? And then he hits me with double 1-drop Stormtrooper and First Order Stormtrooper. And then I think I'm able to follow that up with playing Sabine, and then I think I'm able to effectively just clear one off the board for free and just gain enough advantage and restore where I finish it. Game 2, much in the same kind of fashion. I just my deck's very good into his. Game 2 I did not think was very strong, but I start with Regional Governor, and I'm like, which is terrible, and I'm like, I don't even know what to call. I'll just call Overwhelming Barrage, which ended up being really funny. And then he plays a space unit. I think he plays Kylo's TIE Silencer. His turn 2 is he open fires. His play is open fire Regional Governor. I was like, oh, well, I'm pretty confident he has a barrage in his hand now. So we play out, the rest of the game. On 5, he barrages me. I'm pretty sure he barrages. Yeah, as they do. And then I think he barraged me again the next turn, or maybe the turn after. And then he barraged me a third time. So I'm like, oh, so that Regional Governor definitely was going to be very good. But I was able to stabilize, start just hitting him and healing. He eventually hit me with a Devastator, and that was getting a little scary. But I kind of survived just to where I dropped Crate, and Crate just kind of kills him, and he didn't have the ability to kill me that turn. so I was able to win. And it turned out that the regional governor wasn't even like he killed it because he had to. It was just his only turn 2 player was an open fire. So just so yeah, but yeah, it was another good match. Definitely made me work for it. It was nice to play Ben. Unfortunate that we kind of had to play. I think he was X3 at the time, anyways. So I seemed like I was getting down paired a bit. But yeah, I'm 3-0 in day 2 at this point, and I'm like, oh great, now here my whole expectation was I was gonna just lose, so now I actually have pressure on me for this final round in order to make top 8. I think going into that round, I'm like 12th or 11th overall. I end up playing Michael C, who was the Richmond runner-up, who was playing Ray Datavault, and he was playing Ray Datavault at this event as well. I think we're sitting at like table numbers were weird because we were playing in like the hundreds, like some like hundreds number. So like it was weird on that front. I think we were like effectively at like table 7 or something, 6 or 7. So like I'm thinking in my head, I'm like, oh, based off of that table placement, I don't think even if I win, I make top 8. But didn't matter. He ended up beating me 2-0. They were game 1 was really unfortunate because what was it? Game 1, I thought I was in a really good place. On my Ray flip, I pillage him, I force throw him. So I'm sitting with like, I think I have 1 card in hand left. He's top decking. I don't even remember what my card is, but we're both left with a Ray on board. He draws on the 7 resource turn resources. He has the Luke. Thankfully, I also drew into a Luke.
Spider-Man.
But then the next turn he draws resources to 8, and he hit the home 1. Oh. So it was just really good draws on that front, and I lost that game pretty handedly after that. And then game 2 was really close. I definitely think I probably misplayed. Could have totally pulled this one out. I got him to 32 damage. I hit him for like 16 with a black 1 in space in the early turns. And then like I had a Yoda that I got to buff with an Obi-Wan, and I think I hit him for like 10 or 15 with that. And there was a point where I think he like U-winged, and his like board was like Chewbacca, Fleet Lieutenant, Tech, and an Admiral Akbar. Not all from U-wing, but just somewhere in that turn. And I just had like the Yoda, but he was like so close to dead. And he had attacked with Akbar, and so he had Chewie, Fleet Lieutenant, and Tech that were all readied. So and I'm at 0 damage here, by the way. So like I'm not afraid of dying. So it's all about, can I just close out here? I think he was tapped out. He might not have been tapped out, but I think he was tapped out. I could be wrong, but I had a crate in my hand and I was at 9, and I'm like, well, I can play this crate. I think he was at like maybe, I forget what his health was. He might have been at like 24. I think at this point, I think he was at 24. And so I just pass because I'm like, well, he just trades into my crate with everything he has on board, which honestly, I probably should have just let him do. I think that's the misplay because he did just claim. I just was thinking about it, and I'm like, I can't think of a world in which he would just claim. It all goes back to whether or not he had resources up. I can't remember at that point, but I think I should have just played the crate, force him to trade into it and have outs. Following turn, I think I drew like a second crate and some other, like a takedown maybe. I hit him for 5 with Yoda, put him at like, he had to have been at like 27, right? Yeah, so he had to be at 27. So smack him for 5, put him at 32, and he drops Obi-Wan, I think. And that threw me off because I was like, I was not expecting Obi-Wan in a Ray list at all. And that kind of was able to just let him stabilize because he was able to heal 2 off of Akbar. I had a Poe that I could have gotten and discarded for 2, but he had healed 2 off by then, and he was just able to end it there. So I think I think it was just me misplaying with the crate, and I should have traded in. But yeah, so that was kind of how I ended the day, ending what would that be, 9-3-1, and at least at the end of Swiss, I finished 24th.
That's still a very impressive run. I mean, I know you and I talked about it. Like, even if you'd gotten the win there, you don't know if you would have made the top 8. But
no, I'm pretty confident. Yeah, I think even if I win there, I get 10th.
Yeah, that's still like, out of what, 600? Yeah, 600.
Just under
642. That's a, like I said, a hell of a run. You definitely did a good job for representing Omaha, and just obviously representing the deck you've already put so much time and effort in with. And I think we talked about it before we went live. I think you made some changes in between our last episode and this one, but it's stuck with Ray for what, coming up on 10 months now, and it's definitely showing. I mean, like, you're the only Ray Tarkentown that made day 2. At least that's what I saw. On top of that, it's like there was one Ray ahead of you, I think. We can.
I think there was more. I mean, I know there was the one that made top.
One that made top 8.
So Tata was there, and then
there was Michael, the one that.
And then Ryan Conroe was 18th with another Data Vault. So there were 2 Rays ahead of me.
Which is nice to see that the leader is like.
No, I'm sorry, because there was also my last opponent that was 11th. So I had 3 Rays ahead of me, but they were all Data Vault. Yeah, all 3. Ray Data Vaults.
I think the leader, it's Ray Data Vault's presenting some very strange issues in the meta now, but like at least that you stuck to the roots of like what you've played for so long is an impressive feat nonetheless. So, is there anything you wanted to talk about the list? Anything that you think you would change with a now that you've put it through a gauntlet of 2 days of Star Wars?
Yeah, so I've been kind of talking with some of the other Ray Tarkentown players, because as you know, like Chris Scholes is probably the big name for Ray Tarkentown, and I was kind of just we were looking back and forth about kind of what was ran between us. He did a lot of he kind of changed his a fair bit from what I was expecting, because I guess he was afraid of a lot of Vader 4. So like me,
correct me if I'm wrong, he's a Botha Network guy, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah,
he is. So I got to talk to him while I was like playing Frank and stuff.
Okay.
But or like back after, I think right before we started playing, and then a little bit after. But he decided to main like triple open fire, apparently, and I, if you probably remember, but I've been a huge fan of open fire. And I only had just recently
not seeing it is it feels weird.
Yeah, exactly. Because I wanted to play open fire a lot, because I'm like, well, I'm going to play a bunch of Kira. Open fire is really good into the Kira flip, and it still lets because if they ramp, I can open fire it and I can still buff something.
Yeah.
I still think it's relatively good into Sabine. I think it's good into a lot Han and all these space decks. But I was just like at the point of I don't know what else to take out. I felt like I needed some other cards more. I like for example, I had originally played Open Fire instead of Entrenched, but I had gotten to a point where I'm like, Entrenched is like
so good right now.
Like Entrenched was just so good, so I just played that instead. And I considered siding Open Fire, but I was just like, my sideboard felt so tight. But kind of going into like the specifics, I forget exactly what's changed. I know you had said that I was like, oh, you're playing R2. I've always played around with my 2-drops, and usually people are like, oh, I think you want like a 12 turn 1 plays at least in order to like play something on board turn 1. I think I'm at 13. I think I'm playing 13. So I'm playing 13. I just played out 1 extra, and I think it was just because there were just a few too many hands where I wasn't getting a turn one, so I upped it to 13. I didn't really want to play a third Moisture Farmer because I was like, there's a lot of Kira. I still want to play R2. Literally the week of the event is when I put in the second R2 in the side because my recent testing was like I was doing really, really well into Sabine, which is primarily what Moisture Farmer is there for.
Yeah. And I noticed you
so
didn't see any Sabine in your tire,
yeah.
which is it's fine.
I mean, that's because I tied round
yeah.
one. I tied round one.
yeah. You've suddenly thrown yourself into the Data Vault gauntlet, which we could talk about still.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, aside from that, running the R2, I was maining tech. Some people had dropped that. I already mentioned the entrench, which I felt was just really good into like Han, and in the event that you play against Vader, so you have that.
I think from there it's just adjusting some of your numbers.
Yeah. Aside from that, it's pretty normal. Outside of that, I mean, most people I think were on regional governor. A lot of people had dropped Obi-Wan because they were so afraid of Kira. I just feel like Obi-Wan is. You just have to play around that against Kira because it's just way too good into these hero green blue matchups.
Yeah.
I feel like Obi-Wan just wins the matchup alone. So I just still want to play it, and at least the way that I've been playing, it doesn't feel like everyone's like, oh, but what if they no glory or Obi-Wan, and I'm like. Well, usually by the time they're no glorying my Obi-Wan, it's like they have nothing on board, or I really don't care if they buff their Inferno 4.
That means your leader didn't die, or there's a lot.
Yeah, yeah. But like if I see it in my opening hand, yeah, I'm probably going to resource it.
Yeah.
But yeah, main deck nothing too special. Sideboard. Mostly the same. I mean, obviously, double confiscate you have to run. I had considered playing a third, but I was just like, never. I just didn't care for it. Obviously, the R2 second tech. I really love the second tech for the Kira matchup. I love it for the Quinlan matchup.
I say it looks like your tech all the way through Crate Dragon are just your ramp and Kira matchup modifiers going into game 2 and game 3, and you're just your longer matchups.
Yeah. Like Fell the Dragon. I mean, honestly, it's almost at the point where I'm like, the only reason the third Fell isn't in the main is because I don't know what else I'd want to take out of the main, and I think my matchup is still just fine, game 1 at least, without it. But it feels like I side a third Fell into like 80% of matches. It feels like, like I sided in versus Sabine, even so. It's just so good. It's just a matter of removing the cards that is not good in the particular matchup to fit it in. Is kind of just the way that I play it.
First card, it would be basically.
Yeah, kind of. And then third Pillage. Obviously, I feel like my win condition against Kira is making them discard. So make sure we put that in there. I run a Rivals Fall. This was one I was kind of undecided on. It was mostly there initially for the Luke pilot deck, because I don't really have any ways to deal with that leader deploy. But it's also good for like the Anakin matchup. It's good for like Boba Fett, Cad Bane. So it has uses there. And then third crate, again, I can't believe that I love third crate as much as I do. I never thought that I would need a third one, but it really does just feel great. It just makes sure that you always have it. Like in the case that you open a crate in your opening hand versus some of these control matchups, you don't feel guilty resourcing it and having to hold it for that long because you will have two more. And I mean, you're running tech, and smuggling out crate actually is not out of the question. And then you have the Cham, again, obvious. This was probably the worst side card. I know a lot of people have been talking about this in the Discords. It's like Cham really feels like an underperformer.
There was that solid week of it being like this really good card, where because it being a 5/4 makes up for the fact that, like, I mean, it was an ECL target. It was like a hand disruption holder into the anti, like, Quinlan meta that came out at the beginning of this set, mixed with the Django meta and all that jazz. But like he might have fallen off his high useful case, but I still don't know what you'd swap him out for just quite yet. But
see, I think I would probably put in like open fires or something to help with the Vader matchup.
That's a good call.
Because I think it would also be helpful with some because the issue that I feel like most of the time in most of my matchups I was trying to side in 6 to 8 cards in a matchup. I think the card that I sided the least was actually Confiscate, but I didn't play any Sabines. I didn't play any Hans. I think against Kira I sided it, one or I think I only sided one in any time I played Kira for Traitorous, and as evidence of the weekend, a lot of people were low on Traitorous. A lot of people just weren't a fan of it because they just decided Poe exists, and they're like, I don't want my Traitorous to just get defeated.
A lot of more natural upgrade hate was probably built into most lists this weekend than it has in the last. So
yeah,
looks good though,
Yeah, but yeah, right now, if I had to make any changes, I'd probably drop Cham and probably put in something to help deal with some, space decks. Maybe I'd put in like open fires. Red. I kind of want to try Red 5. In all honesty, maybe even in the main. So yeah.
Well, let's see. What do we have? Yep. So we got the list here pulled up. Do you still have our predictions from the last episode?
I do.
All right.
You were much closer than I was.
Let me pull it up real quick because I can't remember what was actually in the top 8. What did I have? We'll speed run this real quickly.
All right. So you had 2 Kiras.
Okay. So
2 Sabines.
Okay.
You had 1 Han Green. 1 Han 2 Data Vault.
Okay.
You had an Anakin and a Quinlan.
Anakin and Quinlan. Okay. So I was
So you were 5 out of 8.
Oh, okay. Wow.
Because you didn't get no second Kira, no second Sabine, and no Anakin.
Go me. Oh, and I had the wrong Han, I guess. But
no, you had 1 of each. You were right.
Han Blue made top 8.
Oh, you're right. You're right.
Yeah.
Sorry. So you had the right leader. You didn't have the right base.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
And what did you have?
See, I had 3. And you guessed Sabine to win, so you were right on the winner. But I had 3 Sabines, so that was off. I had 2 Rays, so I was off again. I had 2 Han 1 greens, and then I had 1 Kira.
Okay. You got the Kira right, and then just numbers off. I don't think either of us. It was surprising to me that Quinlan was the only leader that had 2 of in top 8.
Yeah.
Like, we've talked with Derek quite a bit, and he's like, he felt pretty down on Quinlan, but Quinlan had one of the better conversion rates over the weekend, and I was like, oh.
Yeah.
It's still,
yeah, for sure, because I think it was just a matter of only the best players played it. And I mean, even just looking at like the Quinlan player that did place second, he only played 1 Sabine, and he lost that. So, and I know Derek said his big concern was Sabine.
That makes sense. That matchup, it's debated on whether how close it is or not, and I'll take Derek's advice for this one because he's put a lot of time in with that one. But I watched Chrono was playing his top 8 and top 4 match, and man, does he make Sabine look so clean. But so let's see. So top 8 shook out that way. They're throughout the tournament, man, I mean, I was watching the stream both days, and there was just such a wide variety of decks. It was really neat to see. There's, unfortunately, and we'll touch on this now because a part of it is an issue with I won't say it's an issue. It's not a problem. But Data Vault. Data Vault is on everything. It's in every leader. We touched this last week where it's like, if you can run it, it's almost just better to do so. And what it caused an issue with is you didn't go to time, or you went to, did you say you went to time on your first match or on day one?
I went to time, so but it wasn't because of Data Vault.
So you have to, from there, was claw your way out of a Data Vault. Odds are most people going to time in this current format are probably on some version of Data Vault. And it's the deck and the play style between that, Ray, and Kira are just like these, what could be incredibly long game ones and even longer game twos.
I mean, I played 8 Data Vaults. I played 8 Data Vaults yesterday or over the weekend.
And how many were different? I mean, that's also, you had 2 Hans, one.
So I played a different deck every day game or every round day one.
Oh, that's nice.
I played a different leader base combo. I think I might have actually played a different leader every round as well. I played a different leader every round day one. Day two, I had repeats because I played round 10 the Han 2, which I had also played day one, and then the Kira. So I only had 2 repeats.
Okay. Yeah, it just goes to show how good that base is. If it can make all of these leaders feel like they have a stronger chance into the meta, against like the blue decks that are also running it, but like in a way that you're not going to get milled out from Vigilance. Your card pool, your HP are both bigger. It's definitely interesting still how it's like rounding out how the game has been played for so long. But it does put you into a scenario where you might, if you go into that unintentional draw round 1 or any round, that you might be entering the Data Vault bracket where you might just continue to draw for the rest of your tournament run. One of our locals, like you had said, Daniel had basically he played against 6 Kira Data Vaults in a row, if I'm not mistaken, including 2 of those being locals, which is just he went 3-1-2 and just said he was going to drop after that, because I was like, that would make for the longest day on Earth to me. I mean, he said he got up to 16 resources like 4 times. I was like, I don't know if I've ever done that once in my entire year and change playing this game. I just don't play that style of deck mostly, but it at the same time, the amount of recursion that deck can create is crazy. It's definitely something as the future, like as the meta keeps to continue to develop, you have to be aware of that. You may be putting yourself into a scenario where draws might be more harmful than a loss. So, like match record wise, I don't know. It depends on what you're playing, and if you want to see Kira's, then maybe a round 1 tie isn't the end of the world. Or not Kira's, but like Ray's. It's like how far ahead of you are into that matchup. But we can touch on real quick the top 8. I know we called it, or at least compared to what we had, but we had quite a few decks. There was we'll just start from the top. Ophir, or Wu, the content creator, finished first on Kira Data Vault with an insane game record. I don't know if you saw like his game record after day 1. We can see real quick. This was crazy. And so he was 18. I
know he was undefeated in day 1.
Yeah, 18-3. So he's over 21 games. That's wild. And then this just continued. He didn't actually drop a match all the way until round 13.
Yeah, the final round. Yeah, I remember.
going
I remember
20.
because the Quinlan's teammates were all around him, were real excited when he won when he beat him in the
Should
final
be,
round.
man. He took down he took down Goliath there. Like that's he could have been a 13-0. That does not happen very often. I mean,
No.
of all the results I've looked over of tournaments and just this game, no, that doesn't happen. But in like, past card game experience, no one does that. At some point he knows that like he's guaranteed top 8. He was probably guaranteed top 8 into round 12 at that point, and this just kind of solidifies it.
He's guaranteed round or top 8 as long as he wins 10 and 11.
Yeah. But yeah, let's go back to finals real quick. So actually, no, we should check quarters. There we go. I've been looking at the wrong one. But yeah, he does end up finishing first, with the finals being a CAD Tarkentown matchup. And then third place was the Han Solo Green, Alex, the greatest, another KTOD guy. We have John Tata on Ray Datavolt, another KTOD. Oh my gosh, KTOD guy. Tetra Rain, I don't know his actual name, but one of the 2 Quinlan Voss players to make it into top 8. Clefine, the only Han Solo to make it into top 8, but this is the Han 2 on blue, which is really kind of cool. We have Chrono, KTOD Chrono, just there was 4 of them to make top 8, which is pretty cool. And then another Quinlan Voss player that made 8th place. It surprised me that, again, Quinlan was the only one to make 2 places in the top 8. But this is essentially, 7 different leaders then? This
is a very healthy meta.
Yeah, that's awesome. And there's you've got one, literally just one data vault in here. We have 1 energy conversion lab, 3 Tarkentowns. That's probably the biggest outlier here, technically. But, yeah.
And I mean, even outside of that, you had 2 Vader Yellows at 9 and 10.
Is that what it was? Yeah. Yeah, Yoda Killer got 9th on the bubble. He's a super cool guy as well.
Vader Yellow.
They were on the Bothan Network group. They were on that Bothan list that Frank was also playing, which I put together yesterday at our little local league, and I was playing a lot of games with it. It's a lot of fun. I like the Stolen AT Hauler a lot. They optimized that list quite a bit. Yeah, I mean, congratulations to everybody who got top 8. I mean, they all won free flights. That's an incredible prize to get. Packs and playmats and all that jazz. I see they had their champion mat there, which I'm sure Daniel was more than thrilled to, see someone else get it, but not him yet, still almost 2 months later. But crazy. Let me see. We can go. I mean, I know Woo's already put out a video explaining his list and how his run went, but there's really not much else to talk about how the tournament concluded. It was you said it was kind of slow for how you felt, but that's a lot of Swiss to get through. That's a big tournament. So and then we had one more topic to talk about in regards to what was going on in the in regards to this weekend. And we'll just kind of make it a little short and simple because we're already at like an hour and some change here. But basically what happened going into top 8 is that there was 8 players in total, 4 of which that are KTOD, tournament team members. So you start this real quick, and it is an absolute miracle that all 4 of them were in separate semifinal matches. That is crazy. It's kind of cool in a way because it's like, obviously, just statistically speaking, it's unique, and it's like the story written in a way. But 3 of them continue on into quarters, where Chrono is the only one to lose.
Quarters and then semis.
Yes, sorry, semis. I always get those mixed up. 4 and 8 are too big of numbers for me some days. Into semis. 4 of them continue. Chrono loses out to Ray Tan. I just want to make sure. Ray Tan. And then so you have Alex and Wu in the other side of the bracket. And basically within, I don't know, maybe a minute of I don't even know if time had started. We're notified that basically Alex has conceded the match to Wu, and Wu will just advance to the finals. This is a thing that, like, on paper I think looks worse than how it feels, but also it's not it doesn't look or feel very good from a viewer perspective, for one. There's really not a fun way to go about it. Did he do anything wrong? No, not really. But I can also understand why people might be upset about it. No one can like pull away from their own opinion. All we can do is kind of discuss what happened. And in all reality, like in Wu's video, he said his opponent, his friend, his teammate conceded, and he wasn't going to play the match no matter what he tried to do. He wanted to play the match, and Alex just didn't. So there's really no way to force a player to play out this match, and there was nothing else that kind of could be done. So, in one regard, it's like, I just hope that people take away from this at the end of the day, Wu had an incredible Swiss run. 12-1 is amazing. And then he wins his quarterfinals matchup, and his friend probably just doing something because he just doesn't care about the pricing, which I'm not gonna knock him for that, because like, in all honesty, once you get top 8, the prize, the flight being paid for, is the best prize. So, at least in my opinion, like the mat and the play mat and stuff, I guess you could sell, but like, I would never sell it. To me, that's trophy stuff, and if you don't care about the trophy stuff, then you're already fine. Yeah.
I mean, it's just a matter of, people argue that, hey, it's collusion because they're trying to maybe get their best matchup to win the overall event. And I understand the argument, but I mean, it's the question of like, how do you truly enforce anything? Because it's like, you can't force the player to play. The player has the right to concede at any point. Literally the only way to enforce it is you now tell people that they cannot concede, or they are quote unquote disqualified. Right? That's literally the only thing. And who wants that? Like, I mean, you're telling me that you can't just like, say you go to a matchup and you're like, oh, I don't want to play that matchup. I'm gonna just concede, and then it's like, well, you're DQ'd anyways. But it's like, how does that play for top 8? Do you do different rules for top 8? But it's like, I mean, hey, I played 9 rounds day 1, and I was exhausted. Alex says that he was just tired and didn't want to play. I can totally get that. I can also totally understand the aspect of, hey, I want my friend to succeed. He ended first in Swiss. I think he just deserves this. So I'm just gonna pass on it. The other thing too is, Alex probably did all that he wanted to do. He's like, cool, I made top 8, flights paid for. I'm already, I'm probably, one of the top 5 most recognizable names in the community, if not like top 2, and probably considered,
love him or hate him.
Like top 5, top 3, top 2 players, at worst in the nation. He's not. He doesn't need to play for clout.
No, and let's take a step back too for a second. It's like, you take away the whole KTOD thing about this, because I think some people are attaching that to it. It's like, you know what? If he had to catch a plane in an hour away from that match, an hour and a half, he has to concede there, because you're not going to make your plane. You may not get home. What's the difference here? Like, you can't hold someone else's time accountable because it doesn't matter to them. You know, like what they get out of it, you know, like you play in these events and you get a participant mat. You can play in a lot of these events and you can get a lot of participant mats. And I have mountains of, not mountains, but like I've got boxes of play mats that are just never going to see the light of day. And it's just things accumulate because you go to these events so much. And he's already won, like you said, I think 3 PQs. Like he's passed down buys to however many people. He's, you know, like just because he plays so much continuously. And like I get it that people, if you're going to be angry at someone, you know, who wanted to play, you can be angry at Alex, but at the end of the day, he's the only person in that scenario who can make a decision. And unless FFG decides to change how these tournament structures work, it's there's nothing else to do other than just try and beat them at their own game, you know. And I'm not saying that as like a, you know, just get better scrub kind of. It's like, this is just the hopeful way to look at it, because if you don't want to focus on that, then looking for a reason to be angry at them is just like, you know, they're playing within the rules. Is it an enjoyable thing to everyone? Probably not. And that's, you know, that's to each their own on this one. It's just, it will happen, and it could have happened where we could have probably not seen 2 semifinal matches and maybe even a finals match. But you know what? We got some stuff. The streams were wonderful. We got tons of game coverage, and honestly, I'm more than open to discuss this with anybody. I think I've presented my opinion quite a few times, at least over the course of the day, to some folks and a couple chats.
I think the main complaint that you can make is, you know, as from a viewer, you know, we missed out on some good content, right? Yeah. I mean, arguably two of the best players. I mean, two of the best players, if not the 2 best players, missing out on a matchup that of very high skill getting played. So I mean, it's just unfortunate for the viewers, right? I mean, but I mean, that's really, in my opinion, the only thing that you can really complain about, because you know, but you know, at the end of the day, it's you know, missing out on one semifinals match isn't the biggest thing in the world. No. I feel like a lot of games you're probably only going to get to see one anyways.
Yeah, it you know, and it's just going to be, I hate saying like it is what it is. It's just not a productive conversation to say sometimes, or the same way to have a conversation. But they, you know, this is just the decisions that were made, and moving forward, we, you know, I hope it doesn't end the same. But if it does, you just have to make sure your expectations could be, I guess, curbed, I guess, a little bit. But you know, who knows what's next? We're at this point, we're just debating the future, which doesn't make any, you know. But yeah, that's just our little quick topic about it. I'm sure, again, you know, if you have any comments, questions, or concerns, anyone can always message me, or you leave it down below. That's completely fine too. I'm more than happy to talk about it in the comment section. I think that's about it for the weekend. We got to do some spoilers next week, though. That Darth Vader, man. I was sitting there in my hotel, and I was like, my hotel, and I was like, holy! My brain just was like, what can I do with this card? He's so cool. So
he's really good.
Yeah, I was sitting there. I was like, I don't think blue green villain needed more, but you know what? They
on a 6 resource nonetheless. Because they definitely don't need it. Yeah, they can't have a weak turn. They just no.
I was talking to Larson last night. I was like, you know, it would be really fun is we put that on Gar and we put ECL on that thing, and then we just Then that makes him a 6/6 for 6. You have the pop, and you have ECL, and you can use Forlom or not Forlom, Lom Pike in that deck to get some more fun out of it. No, but that's also on the agenda is figure out what to start testing for set 5, because we are officially 6 weeks out from release and officially 2 months away from the Galactic Championships, which is super exciting. So on that note, did you have anything else you wanted to run over for the episode?
Really just kind of close up. Anyone that I played throughout the event, all my opponents were very. It was great playing all of you. Everyone that I played was very pleasant. It was a very pleasant experience overall. So thank you for making it a pleasant experience. If any of my opponents see this, it was definitely a pleasure. It was nice not having a negative experience with anyone. Thank you to that, and thanks to everyone that was able to come out from Omaha. And it sounded like everyone enjoyed themselves, so looking forward to doing it again.
I had some wicked FOMO of the pictures you guys sent. I was like, I was on the beach, but like I wanted to be in that convention center for a little bit just to have some fun.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm excited for championships now to try and get everyone there as well, and it'll be a good time. Oh, one little thing. I know I showed them off, I think, on one of the streams, but the sleeves came in. So these are our little, they're just a kind of a dummy copy right now, probably for a better version in the future. But this was something that we, the idea was taken from Derek and over at the Central Spacers, because I had never seen custom sleeves in person before, and I kind of liked that. But we'll see what we do with it. They're pretty neat. I like them a lot. I'll show them off in person here, because you and I, are you going to be there this Sunday for a store showdown?
I don't know if I'll be there for the showdown yet. I will definitely be there at least in the afternoon, but I don't know if I'm going to make it out in the morning for the showdown. So we'll see. I'm gonna do my best. The other thing too is I definitely want to play a different deck, so I gotta figure out what I want to make. I
was sitting there. I was like, is he gonna continue this? Is he gonna run this all the way to Worlds? But
I don't think I'm gonna be able to play it in Worlds. So
without Force Throw, assuming it gets banned, I hope it does. I hope it does so much. I love the card, but there's too much. Yeah. Every one of these spoilers is just giving me like trauma. It shouldn't be this bad. There's so many cards that Force Throw is just going to be like wildfire on. But yeah. All right. This is our third attempt at officially wrapping up this episode, because I could talk about this stuff forever. We'll see you all in the next one. And as always, thank you for checking it out. Peace out.